Hi and welcome. My name is Melissa. I'm your migraine coach, and thank you for downloading this quick little hack to start your day. With these 10 tips, if you do these consistently every morning, you are absolutely sure to get less headaches and less migraine attacks. So who am I? I'm a physiotherapist. I've been working for over 25 years in the area of headache and migraine, neck pain and jaw pain. And I'm also a migrainer. I've had migraine since I was 12 years old, so a very long history, and I've been through everything, so I know what you're going through, and I have done so much research in this area, and there's so much I can do to help you. So let's get straight into it. So here are my top 10 tips, the 10 things you should be doing every morning to start your day, to set yourself up to have a headache-free day. Now, the very first thing is to get up at the same time every day. So whether it's a weekday, a weekend, a work day, no matter what you're doing, try really, really hard to have like a set in stone sleep schedule. So for me, I get up at 6 a.m., whether it's a Monday or whether it's a Sunday, whether I've got nothing on or whether I've got a super busy day. So having that routine really helps to set your body clock and sets all your hormones, your cortisol, your melatonin, and that can really help to just settle down the brain and the way that the brain perceives pain. The second thing I want you to do is when you get up, if you're in a really dark room, or if you're not, I want you to go over to the window and look out to the day. Hopefully there's some sun shining, but if there's not, even just looking out to the day and the daylight, it just helps to stop your sleep hormones and start the production of your cortisol and your hormones that you need for energy to get through the day. So really important when you get up, open the curtains, look out to the day. Then number 3, I want you to go into the bathroom or wherever you can and get some really cold water, as cold as you can, and splash it on your face. And this is a lovely way just to wake yourself up, and it just helps to stimulate the vagus nerve, which we now know is so important for so many things, but particularly for people with migraine. Another thing you can do, if your family will allow it, is to do some humming or singing, particularly humming or chanting. That can be a really great way just to stimulate the vagus nerve to get that firing up for the day. The next thing I want you to do is to have a really large, like a full glass of room temperature water, preferably with a little squeeze of lemon or a little dash of apple cider vinegar. And just having that to just alkalize and just cleanse the system and just start that hydration for the day. So we know we need to be drinking lots and lots of water as people with migraine, and sometimes it's hard to get all those glasses of water in, but if we start the day, and I always finish the day with a large glass of water as well, and that really will set you up to start that hydration, keeping that on track. So you'll see you can download this. This has got the whole list on it, so you don't need to remember everything. I've got it all printed for you, ready to go. And so now we are up to number 5. So number 5 is a non-negotiable. It has to happen every morning, even if it's only 5 minutes, a stretch routine. So let's go and take a look at what my stretch routine looks like. Good morning. So I just wanted to show you what my morning stretch routine looks like. Now, it doesn't really matter what you do. You do what's right for you, but I highly recommend that you take just 5 minutes every morning just to stretch out and loosen your body and prepare it for the day. So this is what my morning routine looks like. First thing I do is take a big breath in and reach my arms up overhead, really reaching up for the sky. I breathe out and go into a side stretch. One direction, breathe in, reach up again, breathe out and side stretch in the opposite direction. I'll then take my big breath in, breathing out, and I will roll over and just let myself hang here. From here, I will go into a down dog position. So in the down dog, I'm really planting my hands, spreading my toes, pushing my heels down, maybe walking out, taking my bottom up towards the ceiling, pressing my chest down towards the ground. From my down dog position, I'll do it this way so you can see. I'll kick my right leg up and bring it forward, so I'm coming up into a nice high lunge. From this position, I want to make sure my knees lined up over my toe, and I'm really feeling that stretch through the opposite thigh, the front of the thigh. So holding that nice lunge position, and then I'll take it into a warrior two. Stretching backwards to really stretch out those side muscles again, and then bringing my forearm down onto my knee and stretching forward to stretch the other side out. I'll then reach down to the ground and take it into a twist, looking up to the side. So these beautiful twisting movements. Hands come back to the ground, back into down dog. I'll come forward into plank, down into chaturanga, and come up into a nice arch, a cobra. From here, back to down dog, kicking my left leg up and doing the same on the other side. So coming up, whoops, a bit wobbly on that side, coming up into a nice high lunge, really stretching out, holding this here for a couple of breaths. And I'm really trying to elongate my body, coming around into warrior two, stretching back, working with the breath, stretching forward, forearm onto the knees, reaching across, hand finds the ground and going into that spinal twist. Coming back to center, and then from here I'll just step forward into my forward bend and then come up all the way up, back up to the ceiling, taking that big breath in again. I'll take it down, do some beautiful big shoulder rolls here. And then with nice soft knees, I'll take it into a little bit of a twist. And this is just a beautiful way to put energy into your body. And then I'll just shake it all out, and I'm ready to go on with my next step. Okay, great. So that is how I do my stretch routine, but it doesn't necessarily have to be what works for you. But just stretching and moving your body and loosening up all the fascia is really great just to start the day without excess strain on our neck. And especially if we're going to work, and especially if we're sitting or driving or spending time on devices, just getting that mobility in the body to start the day will be very helpful. The next thing that I like to do straight after I've done my stretches is lie down and do, or sit, it doesn't matter, and do some breathing. So my favorite one to do is what I call the box breath. So the way the box breath goes is you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold your breath in for a count of 4, you breathe out for a count of 4, and you hold your breath out for a count of 4, and then you repeat that 4 times. So super easy to remember, 4, 4, 4, 4. And this is a really good reset that you can do at any point throughout the day, but it really just helps to reset our breathing. So often what I see is people are just breathing too fast. They're breathing up here, up into their necks, and they're breathing really rapidly. So by doing this box breath throughout the day, it just helps to reset our breathing center back to a breathing rate which is more acceptable. And our breathing rate should be between that 12 and 16 maximum breaths a minute. Definitely no more than that unless we're exercising, of course. So just to recap, with the box breath, we're going to breathe in for a count of 4, hold in for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and hold out for a count of 4. And then repeat that 4 times. And it's really important with our breathing that we're really getting our breath down here at the base of our lungs. So we want to see our lungs expanding laterally. We don't want to see this lifting up and down through our shoulders. So if you feel like you're breathing up here in the upper part of your chest, that's definitely something that you should work on. And starting the day with awareness around your breath and getting that breath with the correct muscles is a really good way to do it. Next thing we're going to do is just check in with our mindset. So you might have carried some things over from yesterday, or you might have had a bad dream, or you might just be not having the most positive thoughts running through your head. But it's really important to just check in every morning and remember that our thoughts create the words that we use that day, and the thoughts and the words then go on and create our actions. So we really want to try to start the day with a really positive mindset, and that will set us up to have more positive words, more positive communications and relationships, and more positive actions. We all know that stress is a really big trigger for migraine. And so if we can start this day with a positive mindset, we're going to be a little bit more resilient to anything stressful that we might face throughout the day. So that's a wonderful way to start the day. And the other thing you can do is to think of something that you're grateful for. So this is a beautiful practice that you can do every morning, and I like to do it every evening as well. And it doesn't have to be something big or complicated. It could literally be, I'm grateful for my big fluffy doona that I was able to cuddle up into last night, or I'm grateful that I can roll out of bed and I've got running water to splash my face with this morning, or anything, the first thing that just comes to mind. But it's just about more putting focus on those positive thoughts and the things that we're grateful for, which will set us up to be more resilient to any stress that we might face during the day. And we know that stress, like I said, it's a trigger for migraine, but it's not that we can just avoid stress. Stress will come to us. It always does. It's how our bodies are able to cope and adapt to that stress that makes the big difference. So just to say, oh, just avoid stress is really not very practical. It could even be trying to cross the road, and a bus comes around the corner really quickly, or your child's forgotten to do their homework, or things that are just not really within your control. So like I say, the stresses are always going to come to us. It's how our body, how resilient we are to stress that makes a huge difference. And setting ourselves up with these practices in the morning will help us to be more resilient to stress throughout the day. So after we've done all these things, it's definitely brekkie time, and it's super important to start the day with a nourishing meal. So we don't want to be reaching for carbs. So we don't want to be having a quick piece of toast or a quick bowl of cereal or something like that. We definitely want to be getting proteins and fats in our breakfast as well. So my favorite is a chia pudding. So I soak chia seeds the night before in either almond milk or coconut milk or something like that. And then I'll add a little bit of fruit like blueberries for antioxidants. And then I'll sprinkle lots of nuts and seeds over the top for protein. But that's just what works for me. You've got to work out what works for you, but making sure that we're definitely getting the protein and the fat in there so that we've got that slow burning fuel for the day. We don't want to have a big sugar spike straight after breakfast, because again, when that drops down, we know that those sugar highs and lows can trigger migraine. So we want to set ourselves up with that nice slow burning fuel so that we're good to go until our next meal comes around. And then the last thing that I have on my list is just taking some time, it might be while you're eating your breakfast, just to plan out your day. And you need to think about, what are your meals going to be that day? What are you planning on having for lunch? What are you planning on having for dinner, maybe for snacks? Because you will find if you're getting hungry or you're getting tired around that 3 o'clock slump in the afternoon, if you haven't pre-prepared something or have something in mind, you will definitely be reaching for the chocolates and the sugars. And like I say, that's going to spike up the blood sugar, and then that's going to come crashing down and likely to trigger an attack, a headache or a migraine attack. And just a reminder here that we know that all these triggers build up and build up. So you might get away with one thing, but if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, you're tired, you're dehydrated, your blood sugar's spiking, all these things are adding up, that's when migraine will strike. So you may get away if you just miss one of them, but if you're missing all of them, inevitably you're going to end up with a headache or a migraine attack by the end of the day. So some other things we need to be planning is to make sure we get our hydration. So we've already started the day off well with that, But it doesn't hurt to get your big water bottle or a couple of water bottles, fill them up with nice filtered water and place them at your workstation or by your bed or in your car, where you'll be hanging out throughout the day, just to make sure that you've got that fresh filtered water available to you for the duration of the day. Really important also to schedule some breaks throughout the day. So breaks, stress relief breaks are really important. And it might just be coming back to that box breath. It doesn't even take a minute to go through those, or a couple of minutes. Maybe if you're sitting at the computer, it might be a posture break that you're setting up. So you might just stand up if you've been sitting down. You might do some shoulder rolls. You might stretch your arms behind your back, look from side to side. You might come and tuck your chin in. And you might just take your eyes and gaze out the window to a long distance if you've been focusing up nice and close on the screen all day. So just scheduling in those breaks. And the other thing we want to make sure we schedule into our day is our movement time. So exercise is super important. We all know that. And sometimes it's not that we don't want to do it, it's just that we don't get around to doing it. So I always like to schedule in time. Usually for me, it's around when my children catching the bus home. I'll make sure I'm getting a walk in then, or in the morning, whatever works for you. And it doesn't have to be huge, if you're not having a great day, just going for a gentle stroll is better than nothing. But if you are feeling good and you do have the energy, really getting out and having that nice 30 to 45 minute walk, getting a little bit breathless, we know that doing that on a regular basis, it boosts our serotonin and it's super helpful at calming down our migraine brains and preventing migraine attacks. So that is everything on my list. And most importantly, once you've done all these 10 things, you are ready to go and start your day with a big smile, knowing that you've done everything within your power to keep yourself healthy and happy and pain-free.